So we have here a beautiful model, and we need to first separate out the face because that's the part that we're going to be cutting into the wood. So what I need is one of these cutting tools, but first it looks like I need to change the tilt by a little bit. So I'm using this tool called Flash Forge, which is really for 3D printing, but it makes things really easy. So I'm just going to use it for this. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I've tilted it. Now I'm going to use the cut feature, and I want to cut in this plane. And you basically want to get as much of the important face as possible, but also like as little as anything else. Alright, and then we can delete this part. So here is the face in Fusion 360, and the first thing I'm going to do is go up here to move, and I'm going to rotate it around. Alright, and then we can lower it down to the bottom. So at this point, we have too many facets on, there's too much detail basically, and we need to reduce it. Obviously you don't want to reduce it too much because then it just kind of becomes a blob face. But if you don't reduce it enough, then it's going to get difficult, and the CAD software that does the cutting, the slicing really in 3D on the CNC will have trouble with too many details. So what we got to do is go over to Mesh and then Modify and then Reduce. Alright, so you can still recognize the face, but we got way less facets. So now we are ready to convert to a solid. So when you're done with that, you can convert it. So you go up here to Modify, Convert Mesh. Once that's done, we can go over to Design and then Manufacture and then Setup. And again, this takes a little bit to think. Alright, that looks good, and it looks like Z is the correct direction, so we're set there. So next we need to go over to parallel, and we wanted to slice this in a parallel way, but it also needs a second to think. Once that is done, I'm going to change my spindle speed to 10,000 because that's what it is on, or that's maximum speed on my machine. And passes, I'm going to do multiple depths, change that up, oops, that's the wrong one. Do 3 step downs, and we might have to fiddle with that depending on how this works out. And then, yeah, so we press OK, and it gives us what tool we want. Also, when you're preparing the drill path, make sure that you set the cutting feed rate because it might try to go crazy on you. Another thing that helps is if you go over to the heights part in parallel pathing and you kind of play with them because it may be way too tall and stuff like that. So yeah, just make sure that you set that to something that you like. And the other thing is never be afraid to lower the feed rate. It'll just take longer, but at least you won't break your drill bits. Popular. But that's fine, we just go down to Gerbil. We also want to do output M6 and output tool number to know. If you need to rescale your mesh, you go up here to, in design mode, mesh, modify, and then rescale mesh, and it should be self-explanatory from there. So here's the setup. I've got the wood on there,
SD cards in the machine, and I'm going to switch out the acrylic cutting tool bit for this spiky one, and we'll see. Okay, so step one, let's put it in the right place. Okay, let's try it out. Alright, well, who knows where the origin is, but let's try starting it in the middle. So this is why it's useful to have a practice piece of wood, or even practice plastic, styrofoam. Let's try it again at the top. Okay, this time. Okay, this time it's gonna work. This time. This time.
Okay, looks like it finished mostly successfully. There's a couple issues. One, I kept using the same place to drill the first hole, so the nose is a little dug into. Two, looks like there's a lot of splinters, and that just might be cleanup. And then three, I think I just need to make it thicker because I did have some left over, so maybe next time I'll do like 3 times the Z. But other than that, it came out pretty good.